And I mean, going to the NFL, forget about COVID concerns. They've got guys getting sucker punched at bars.
Well, I feel like the only way you can probably hit an NFL player is if you sucker punch him, because that would be a pretty intimidating thing to do otherwise. Yes, Dallas Goedert sucker punched at a bar in South Dakota. And Brett, there were a few questions that arose when we first saw this story. My first one was, why would you go to South Dakota? I understand he's from there, but you escaped. You left it. You don't need to go back.
It sounds like someone that has a vendetta against South Dakota.
Okay, I have been to South Dakota. I don't have a vendetta against them. There's just not a lot to do.
All right, fair enough. Your Nebraska pride, baby, it's showing. But my question would be, and we've talked about it now in every fucking subject we've done, every league we've done, but why are you at a bar with all the COVID cases going on? Like, just stay home. Like,
Yeah.
just stay home. Can, can't you get alcohol delivered to your home, or can't you go to a liquor store and do the exact same thing? Like, just stay home.
And lastly, who punches an NFL football player in their own hometown?
Maybe the rival high school. I don't know. Well, so I was gonna ask you: was it someone who owned him this past year in fantasy football, or was it someone that lost a big bet on an Eagles game?
I would go a big bet.
Big bet. I don't know. I go fantasy person because like fantasy people are crazy online. I don't know. I just feel like they're crazy.
Yes, but Dallas Goddard's not one of the names that you expect to be a win or loss defining person on your fantasy team.
That's how you're placing your Eagles bets on Dallas Goddard.
Well, maybe he dropped a game-winning pass or something. I'm not entirely sure, but
Maybe.
it is a very weird scenario of an NFL player going back to his hometown and getting sucker punched at a bar when you probably shouldn't even be back at a bar right now during this coronavirus scare. But there's some other news in the NFL that's going on right now. I mean, like we've mentioned, a number of NFL players have tested positive for coronavirus. We saw Ezekiel Elliott, we saw numerous Dallas and Houston players, as well as Tampa. It's going around the league now.
Yeah, it is. But at least Dak Prescott got paid. So at least if you're going to be in a state where COVID's rising, I might as well sign $34 million check to stay here.
Well, he signed the franchise tender, so he didn't. Him and Dallas did not come to an agreement on a contract.
No, no, they did not. But he's going to show up. I think it ends the holdout.
It should end the holdout. He should show up. I don't know if it means that he will stay in Dallas, though. Those franchise tags can be iffy like that sometimes. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how the relationship of Dak and Dallas uh, continues throughout this entire season, and
Well,
whether
can
or
I be
not he'll
honest with
stay.
you?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter how their relationship is because you gave him Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott. Like, my man's going to put up, I mean, best case scenario, right? Like, let's not go worst case scenario where he gets injured and doesn't play well. Let's go like medium to best case scenario. He's going to put up 4,500 yards, 4,000 yards, like, and probably a few touchdown passes. Like, yeah, sure, Zeke and Pollard, they're going to get their touchdowns as well, but he's got all these weapons on the outside. I don't know, like Blake Jarwin doesn't really do it for me, but he's a decent tight end, so maybe you get a few decent receptions over the middle as well, but you got three big time weapons on the outside. You got one of the top five running backs. I mean, I think you've got to like his chances of cashing in just by showing up to play on Sundays.
And worst case scenario, if Dak Prescott cannot succeed with that offensive tools, Then you have Andy Dalton.
And you have Andy Dalton.
So the NFL, they have had some interesting things. There still remains quite a bit of hope that there's going to be a season, and potentially even fans, even though there have been some concerns raised by people like Dr. Fauci about the possibility of a second wave coming in the fall or what have you. But the Patriots kind of taking a precautionary step for their season ticket holders, saying those with elevated risk of catching coronavirus, that our season ticket holders can waive their tickets for this season and still hold their place for next season.
I like that. I think that's a good policy. Good for
I think so
Robert
too.
Kraft and the Patriots, man.
Yeah, I think that is a very forward thinking policy. And as we have seen this only get more severe in a sense, I think that is the right measure to take, at least for this season, when we don't really know what's going to happen with the NFL yet. There's still a lot of time going on. So letting those season ticket holders opt out, giving the teams time to find a different season ticket holder to buy those tickets if there are fans, I think it's the right move.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's a good idea by the Patriots.